The morning sun rose over the crystal forest of Kepler 442b, painting the sky in shades of purple and gold. Dr. Hanna Kim stepped out of her small research station, breathing in the sweet air of the alien world. She had been living here for 6 months, studying the strange plants and animals that called this planet home. Hanna loved her job. Every day brought new discoveries. The trees here were not like Earth trees at all. They were made of something that looked like colored glass, but they bent and moved like living things. When the wind blew through them, they made soft music that sounded like bells. Today, Hanna planned to explore the north section of the forest. She had not been there before. Her supervisor back on Earth had told her to map every part of the area around her station. Hanna packed her tools into her backpack, a scanner, sample containers, her medical kit, and some food for lunch. The forest was quiet as she walked. Her boots crunched softly on the crystal leaves that had fallen to the ground. Strange blue flowers grew everywhere, glowing softly in the dim light under the trees. Hanna stopped to take pictures and collect samples. After walking for 2 hours, she heard something that made her freeze. It was a sound like crying, but not human crying. It was high and sad, like a baby animal in pain. Hanna followed the sound deeper into the forest. The crying grew louder. Hanna pushed through some low crystal branches and found herself in a small clearing. There, caught in a metal trap, was the most beautiful creature she had ever seen. It was small, about the size of a house cat. Its body was covered in fur that looked black at first, but when the light hit it, colors danced across its surface like oil on water. Purple, blue, green, and silver rippled through its coat as it moved. The creature had a long tail and pointed ears. Its paws were bigger than a normal cat's, with sharp claws that gleamed like silver, but it was the eyes that made Hanna gasp. They were bright silver, almost white, and they looked at her with an intelligence that seemed almost human. The creature was clearly in pain, but it watched her carefully, as if trying to decide if she was friend or enemy. The trap had caught the animal's back leg. It was an old-style metal trap with sharp teeth. Hanna could see blood on the creature's fur. The sight made her angry. Hunting was not allowed on this planet. Someone had put this trap here illegally. "Oh, you poor thing," Hanna said softly. She moved slowly toward the trapped animal. "Don't worry, I'm going to help you." The creature made a soft sound like a purr, but deeper. It stopped struggling and watched Hanna with those amazing silver eyes. She could see intelligence there and something else. Hope, maybe. Hanna knelt beside the trap. She had seen traps like this before. During her training on Earth, they were cruel devices used by poachers to catch rare animals. The good news was that she knew how to open them. "This is going to hurt a little," she told the creature, "but I need to get you free." Hanna found the release mechanism on the trap. She pressed it carefully, and the metal teeth opened. The creature pulled its leg free immediately and tried to run, but it fell down. The injured leg could not hold its weight. "Easy, easy," Hanna said. She reached out her hand slowly. The creature sniffed her fingers, then allowed her to touch its head. Its fur was incredibly soft, softer than anything Hanna had ever felt. Under her fingers, the colors in its coat swirled and changed. Hanna examined the injured leg. It was not broken, but there were deep cuts from the trap's teeth. The creature needed medical attention, or it might die from blood loss or infection. "I'm going to take you back to my station," Hanna said. "I can help you there," the creature seemed to understand. It made that purring sound again and did not fight when Hanna gently picked it up. It was heavier than it looked, but not too heavy for her to carry. As she held it, she could feel its heart beating fast against her chest. The walk back to her station took longer than usual. Hanna had to stop several times to rest and to check on the creature. Each time those silver eyes looked up at her with what she could only describe as gratitude. "You're going to be fine," she whispered to it. "I promise." When they reached her station, Hanna laid the creature on her examination table. It did not struggle as she cleaned its wounds. The cuts were deep, but not life-threatening. Hanna used her medical supplies to treat the injuries. She had studied alien biology, so she knew how to adapt human medicine for other species. As she worked, Hanna talked to the creature. "You're so beautiful," she said. "What are you?" "I've never seen anything like you before." The creature purred. In response, when Hanna finished bandaging its leg, it licked her hand with a rough, warm tongue. The simple gesture made her smile. "You need a name," Hanna said. She looked at the way the creature's fur sparkled under the lights of her station. "How about Bill? It means star in my language." "You look like you're covered in stars." The creature, Bill, seemed to like the name. It purred louder and settled down on the soft blanket Hanna had given it. Soon it was asleep. Hanna watched Bill sleep and wondered what species it belonged to. She had studied all the known animals on this planet, but she had never seen anything like this creature. It was clearly intelligent, maybe more intelligent than any animal she had ever met. She also wondered about the trap. Who had put it there, and why? Hanna decided she would report it to the authorities. Poaching was a serious crime, for now. Though, she just wanted to take care of Biol. The creature had trusted her enough to let her help. Hanna would make sure it got better and could return to its home in the forest. She did not know that saving this small, beautiful creature would change her life forever. 3 days had passed since Hanna brought Biol to her station. The little creature was healing well. The cuts on its leg were closing, and it could walk without pain now. But something strange was happening in the forest. Hanna first noticed it on the second morning. She woke up to a sound she had never heard before. It was deep and powerful, like thunder rolling across the sky. But the sky was clear, and the sound came from the forest. The sound came again that evening. This time it was closer. It made the crystal trees vibrate and shake. Some of the smaller branches fell to the ground with a tinkling sound like broken glass. Biol heard it too. When the sound came, the little creature would lift its head and make soft, chirping noises. Its silver eyes would get bright, and it would look toward the forest with excitement. On the third day, Hanna's communication device buzzed. It was Dr. Jiho Park, her colleague who worked on the space station above the planet. "Hanna, are you okay down there?" Jiho's voice sounded worried through the speaker. "I'm fine," Hanna replied. "Why do you ask?" "Our sensors are picking up strange readings from your area. There's massive movement in the forest around your station. The seismic equipment is going crazy." Hanna looked out her window at the quiet forest. She could see nothing unusual. "I haven't seen anything moving, but I have been hearing strange sounds." "What kind of sounds?" "Like thunder, but deeper. It makes everything shake." There was silence for a moment. Then Jiho spoke again. "Hanna, I think you should be careful. Whatever is making those sounds is big, really big." After the call ended, Hanna felt worried. She looked at Biol, who was sleeping peacefully on his blanket. The little creature seemed so innocent. Could he be connected to whatever was happening in the forest? That night, the sounds got louder. They came from all directions now, not just one place. It sounded like many voices calling to each other. Across the forest. The calls were musical in a way, but also powerful and wild. Bill could not sleep. He paced around the station, making soft noises. He kept going to the windows and looking out at the forest. Sometimes he would make louder sounds, as if he was trying to answer the calls from outside. Hanna watched him with growing understanding. "You're trying to talk to them, aren't you?" She said, "Those sounds are from your family." Biol looked at her with his bright silver eyes. For a moment, Hanna could have sworn she saw sadness there. The next morning brought new problems. Hanna was giving Biol his breakfast when she heard the sound of engines in the sky. A small spacecraft was landing near her station. This was not expected. No one was supposed to visit her for another month. 3 men got out of the ship. They wore dark clothes and carried weapons. The leader was a tall man with cold eyes and a cruel smile. Hanna recognized him from the criminal database she had studied. His name was Captain Dongwoo Nam, and he was a known poacher and smuggler. The men walked up to her station. Captain Nam knocked on the door, but it was not a friendly. Knock. It was hard and demanding. Open up, he called. We know you're in there. Hanna quickly hid Biel in her bedroom and closed the door. Then she opened the front door, trying to look calm. Can I help you? She asked. Captain Nam pushed past her into the station. His two men followed. They were both big and mean-looking. We're here about our property, Captain Nam said. We had some traps set up in the forest. One of them caught something valuable. We tracked it here. I don't know what you're talking about, Hanna said. Captain Nam laughed. It was not a nice laugh. Don't lie to me, lady. We know you found our catch. Where is it? I haven't found anything, Hanna said firmly. One of the men started searching the station. He opened cabinets and looked under furniture. Hanna's heart pounded. She hoped Biel would stay quiet. Boss, the man called from the bedroom. I found something. Hanna's blood turned cold. The man came out of the bedroom carrying Biel. The little creature was scared and struggling. There's our prize, Captain Nam said with a greedy smile. Do you know how much this thing is worth? There are collectors who will pay millions for a creature like this. You can't take him, Hanna sighed. He's injured. He needs medical care. Him? Captain Nam laughed. You named it? How cute. Well, your little pet is coming with us? Biel made a loud, frightened sound. It was higher and more desperate than his usual purring. Almost immediately, the forest answered. The deep, thundering calls came from all around the station, closer than ever before. Captain Nam and his men looked around nervously. What was that? One of them asked. Just animal sounds, Captain Nam said, but he did not look sure. The calls came again, even closer. This time, they were answered by more calls from different directions. It sounded like a conversation, but in a language made of thunder and music. Boss, I don't like this, the second man said. We should go. We're not leaving without our prize, Captain Nam said. But Hanna could see he was scared too. Biel called out again, louder this time. The answer from the forest was immediate and powerful. The whole station shook. Outside, Hanna could hear the crystal trees singing as they moved in the wind. Fine, Captain Nam said, but you're coming with us. You obviously know something about this creature. You can help us keep it alive until we find a buyer. I won't help you, Hanna said. Captain Nam pulled out his weapon. Yes, you will. Unless you want to be left here for whatever is making those sounds. Hanna looked at Biel, who was still struggling in the man's arms. The little creature's silver eyes met hers, and she saw trust there. He believed she would help him. All right, she said quietly. I'll come with you. As they prepared to leave, the calls from the forest grew louder and more urgent. Whatever was out there was getting closer, and Hanna had a feeling that Captain Nam and his men had no idea what they were dealing with. The hunt was about to begin. Captain Nam forced Hanna to pack her medical supplies and equipment. His men kept their weapons pointed at her while she worked. Biel was locked in a small metal cage that one of the poachers had brought from their ship. Hurry up, Captain Nam said. I don't like those sounds from the forest. The thunderous calls had not stopped. If anything, they were getting stronger. Hanna could feel them in her chest now like a giant heartbeat. The crystal trees around her station were swaying even though there was no wind. Where are we going? Hanna asked. To our base camp, Captain Nam replied. It's deeper in the forest. We have a buyer coming tomorrow. Rich collector from the outer rim. He's paying good money for rare creatures. Hanna looked at Biel in his cage. The little creature was quiet now, but his silver eyes were alert. Every time the calls came from the forest, his ears would perk up, and he would make soft, chirping sounds. He's trying to call for help, Hanna realized. What? Captain Nam asked. Nothing, Hanna said quickly. She did not want to give the poachers any more information. They loaded everything into the poacher's ship. It was a small, dirty vessel that smelled like oil and sweat. Captain Nam made Hanna sit in the back with Biel's cage. The two other men, who Hanna learned were called Taemin and Woojin, sat in the front. As they flew over the forest, Hanna looked down at the crystal trees. She could see movement below, but it was hard to tell what was causing it. The trees were bending and swaying in patterns that looked almost like waves. "Something's following us," Taemin said from the pilot's seat. "What do you mean?" "Captain," Nam asked, "look at the trees. They're moving in a line below us, like something big is running through the forest." Hanna pressed her face to the window. Taemin was right. There was a clear path of movement through the trees, following their ship. Whatever was down there was keeping pace with them. "It's probably just wind," Captain Nam said, but he sounded nervous. The ship landed in a clearing where the poachers had set up their base camp. There were several tents and a lot of equipment for catching and holding animals. Hanna saw other cages with different creatures inside. Her heart broke for all the scared animals. "Put the creature in the holding area," Captain Nam ordered, "and make sure the human doesn't try anything stupid." They dragged Buell's cage to a large tent filled with other cages. Hanna was forced to help set up a special enclosure for him. As she worked, she whispered to the little creature. "Don't worry," she said softly. "I'll find a way to get you out of here." Buell looked at her with his intelligent silver eyes. He made a soft purring sound that Hanna had learned meant he trusted her. That night, the sounds from the forest got much worse. They were no longer just deep calls. Now there were other sounds too, crashing like huge trees falling and a low rumbling that made the ground shake. "Boss, I think we should leave," Woojin said. "Whatever's out there, it's getting closer." "We're not leaving without our money," Captain Nam said. "The buyer will be here in the morning." Hanna was tied to a chair in the main tent. She had been trying to work her hands free for hours. The sounds from the forest were all around them. Now, sometimes she could hear movement in the trees at the edge of the clearing dot around midnight. Buell started making noise. He was calling out in a way Hanna had never heard before. It was loud and urgent, like a distress signal. The forest answered immediately. The thunderous calls came from all directions, much closer than before. The ground shook so hard that equipment fell over in the tents. "Shut that thing up," Captain Nam yelled. Tae-Min ran to the holding tent. Hanna heard him shouting at Buell to be quiet, but the little creature kept calling, then everything went silent. The sudden quiet was almost worse than the noise. Hanna could hear her own heartbeat in the stillness. "Maybe they gave up," Woojin said hopefully. That was when the first shadow moved at the edge of the clearing dot. It was huge, bigger than anything Hanna had ever seen. At first, she thought it was just a dark shape between the trees. But then she realized it was an animal, and it was watching them. "Oh no," she whispered. More shadows appeared. They surrounded the clearing, silent and still. In the moonlight, Hanna could see they were like Buell, but much, much larger. Their eyes glowed with the same silver light, but these eyes were the size of dinner plates. "What are those things?" Taemin asked in a shaky voice. "Big cats, Captain," Nam said. "Just big cats? Our weapons can handle them." But Hanna knew better. These were not just big cats. They moved with purpose and intelligence. They were communicating with each other in ways she could not understand. And they were angry. One of the creatures stepped into the clearing. It was massive, nearly 4 feet tall at the shoulder. Its fur was the same color-changing black as Buell's, but it rippled with power. This was clearly the leader. The creature looked directly at Hanna. Its silver eyes seemed to see right through her. Then it looked at the tent where Buell was being held. "Shoot it," Captain Nam ordered. Woojin raised his weapon and fired. The energy blast hit the creature in the chest, but it did not fall. It did not even seem hurt. Instead, it let out a sound that was part roar, part thunder, and part something else that Hanna felt in her bones. The other creatures answered the call. The sound they made together was like nothing Hanna had ever heard. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "We need to go," Taemin said. "Right now." But it was too late. The creatures had surrounded them completely. There was no escape. Captain Nam grabbed Hanna and pulled her in front of him. "Stay back," he shouted at the creatures. "I'll kill the human." The leader creature tilted its head, studying the situation. Its intelligence was clear in its eyes. It was thinking, planning. Then, from the holding tent, came a small sound. Bill was calling out, but this time it was different. It sounded like he was trying to calm the big creatures down. The leader's ears perked up. It looked toward the tent and made a soft sound in return. That was when Han-Na realized the truth. These were not just random forest animals. They were Buell's family, and they had come to take him home. The real confrontation was about to begin. The giant creatures moved like shadows in the moonlight. Han-Na counted at least 12 of them, maybe more. They were all huge, but the leader was the biggest. Its massive form blocked out the stars as it stepped closer to the camp. Captain Nam pressed his weapon against Han-Na's head. "I mean it," he shouted. "Stay back or the human dies." The leader creature stopped. Its silver eyes focused on Han-Na with an intelligence that made her shiver. This was not just an animal. This was something much more. "They understand you," Han-Na whispered. "Shut up," Captain Nam hissed. From the holding tent, Buell called out again. This time his voice was stronger, more urgent. The little creature was trying to communicate with the giant ones. The leader made a soft sound back to Buell. It was gentle, like a parent talking to a child. The other creatures around the clearing moved closer, but they stayed in the shadows. "This is impossible," Taemin sighed. His voice shook with fear. "Animals don't act like this." "They're not animals," Han-Na said. "Not the way you think." Woo-jin fired his weapon again. The energy blast hit one of the creatures in the shoulder. The creature stumbled but did not fall. Instead, it looked at Woo-jin with what Han-Na could only describe as disappointment. "Your weapons are not working," Han-Na said to Captain Nam. "Let me go. Maybe I can talk to them." "You can't talk to wild animals," Captain Nam snarled. But Han-Na was watching the creatures carefully. They were not attacking randomly. They were organized, working together like a team. Some stayed in the shadows while others showed themselves. They were surrounding the camp, but they were being careful not to hurt anyone yet. The leader creature made a series of low sounds. Immediately, 2 other creatures moved to block the path to the ship. 3 more positioned themselves near the holding tent where Biol was kept. "They're cutting off our escape routes," Han-Na realized. "That's impossible," Captain Nam said. "They're just dumb animals." The leader creature heard him. It turned its massive head toward Captain Nam and made a sound that was almost like laughter, but there was no humor in it. It was cold and dangerous. Then something amazing happened. The leader creature sat down. It was still huge, but sitting made it look less threatening. It tilted its head and looked directly at Han-Na. For a moment, Han-Na felt strange. It was like someone was gently touching her mind. She could feel the creature's thoughts, not in words but in feelings and images. She saw Biol as a baby, playing with other young creatures in a beautiful crystal cave. She saw the pack hunting together, not just for food, but protecting their territory. She saw them building things, creating tools, caring for their sick and old. "They're not just intelligent," Han-Na gasped. "They're a civilization." The leader creature made an approving sound. It had shared its memories with her on purpose. It wanted her to understand. "What are you talking about?" Captain Nam demanded. "They're trying to communicate with us," Han-Na said. "They don't want to fight. They just want their child back?" From the holding tent, Biol made another sound. This time it was desperate, scared. The little creature could smell his family, but he could not get to them. The leader creature stood up. Its patience was running out. It made a low, growling sound that made all the other creatures tense up. "Boss, we need to give them what they want," Woo-jin said. "Look at them. They could kill us all." "No," Captain Nam said. "That creature is worth millions. I'm not giving it up." The leader creature took a step forward. Its massive paws made no sound on the ground, but Han-Na could feel its power. The other creatures moved too, coming out of the shadows. Han-Na could see them clearly now. They were all beautiful, with the same color-changing fur as Biol, but they were also deadly. Their claws were longer than her fingers, and their teeth gleamed white in the moonlight. "Please," Han-Na said to Captain Nam, "let the child go. You can see what they're capable of." "The human is right," a new voice said. Everyone turned. Dr. Jiho Park was standing at the edge of the clearing. He had a small group of colonial defense. 4 soldiers with him. Gah, Hanna said with relief. How did you find us? I tracked your signal, Joe said. When you didn't report in, I knew something was wrong. Captain Nam spun around, still holding Hanna. Stay back. I'll kill her. No, you won't, Jeho said calmly. Because you're surrounded? The soldiers raised their weapons, but they were not pointing them at the creatures. They were pointing them at the poachers. You're all under arrest, the squad leader said. Drop your weapons. Captain Nam looked around wildly. The creatures were on one side, the soldiers on the other. There was nowhere to run. This is not over, he said. But he lowered his weapon. The moment Captain Nam's weapon was down, the leader creature moved. It was faster than Hanna thought possible. In 3 quick steps, it was at the holding tent. With one careful swipe of its claws, it cut through the tent wall. Buell's cage was inside, and the little creature was calling out excitedly. The leader creature looked at the cage for a moment. Then it did something that amazed everyone. It carefully opened the cage door with its claws, being gentle. So it would not hurt Buell. Buell rushed out and rubbed against the leader's massive paw. The big creature made soft, happy sounds. It was clearly Buell's parent, but then Buell did something unexpected. Instead of staying with his parent, he ran across the clearing toward Hanna. Buell, no, Hanna said. Go to your family. But Buell came right to her. He rubbed against her legs and purred. When Hanna knelt down, he climbed into her arms. The leader creature watched this with interest. It walked over to Hanna and Buell. For a moment, Hanna was terrified. The creature was so huge, so powerful, but the leader creature was gentle. It sniffed Hanna carefully, then looked at Buell. The little creature made soft sounds as if he was explaining something to his parent. The leader creature's silver eyes studied Hanna. Once again, she felt that gentle touch in her mind. This time, she saw what Buell had experienced. She saw herself finding him in the trap, caring for his wounds, protecting him from the poachers. The leader creature made a sound that was almost like a sigh. Then it did something that shocked everyone. It bowed its massive head to Hanna. The pack had made their decision about the human who had saved their child. The leader creature's bow was deep and respectful. All the other pack members saw it and made soft sounds of approval. Hanna felt tears in her eyes. She had never seen anything so beautiful and moving. What's happening? Jeho asked quietly. He and the soldiers had moved closer, but they kept their weapons lowered. I think they're thanking me, Hanna whispered. She was still holding Buell, who purred contentedly in her arms. The leader creature raised its head and looked directly into Hanna's eyes. This time, the touch in her mind was stronger. Hanna gasped as images and feelings flooded through her thoughts. She saw the pack's history. They were called the Velfari, and they had lived on this planet for thousands of years. They had built cities in hidden caves, created art from crystal and light, and developed wisdom that humans could barely imagine. She saw their family bonds, stronger than anything she had known. Each member of the pack would die to protect the others. Children were treasured above all else. She saw their pain when Buell had disappeared. The whole pack had searched for days, calling out through the forest. They had tracked the scent to Hanna's station and waited, trying to decide what to do about the human who had taken their child. But then she saw something else. The leader creature was sharing Buell's memories too. She saw herself through Buell's eyes, kneeling by the trap, gentle hands freeing him, carrying him to safety. She saw her own face as she cleaned his wounds and gave him food. Most importantly, she saw the moment when she could have kept Buell for herself, but instead had tried to let him go back to the forest. The leader creature understood that Hanna had not taken Buell to hurt him. She had saved him. You see truth, the leader creature said. Hanna jumped. The words had not come through her ears. They had appeared directly in her mind, spoken in perfect human language. You can talk, she said out loud. We learn quickly, the leader replied in her thoughts. Your language is simple compared to ours. The other pack members were watching this exchange with interest. Some of them made soft sounds to each other. Hanna realized they were talking, but in a way humans could not hear. What is your name? Hana asked silently, thinking the words rather than speaking them. I am Velthoric, Alpha of the Northern Pack. The young one you saved is my son. Hana looked down at Biol with new understanding. He's your child? He's precious to us? When he was taken, we thought he was lost forever, but you brought him back to us. The Colonial Defense Force soldiers were getting nervous. Their squad leader, a woman named Captain Lee, stepped forward carefully. Dr. Kim, she said, we need to get you out of here. These creatures could be dangerous. No, Hana said firmly. They're not dangerous. They're intelligent. More intelligent than U.S.? Captain Lee looked skeptical. They're just animals, Velthoric heard this. He turned his massive head toward the soldier and made a sound that was clearly laughter. Then he did something that made everyone freeze. He spoke out loud, using his actual voice. The words were rough and deep, but perfectly clear. We are not animals, small human. We are older than your species. Captain Lee stumbled backward. That's impossible. Many things are possible, Velthoric said. Your kind simply does not see them, Ho stepped forward. As a scientist, he was fascinated rather than afraid. How long have you been able to speak our language? Since the first human ships came to our world, Velthoric replied. We watched you. We learned. We decided to stay hidden until we knew if you were friend or enemy. And what did you decide? Triho asked. Velthoric looked at the poachers, who were now sitting on the ground with their hands tied. Captain Nam glared at everyone with hate in his eyes. Most of your kind are like these hunters, Velthoric said. They take what they want. They care nothing for other life. Then he looked at Hana. But some of your kind are different. Some have what we call the caring heart. These ones we can trust. What happens now? Hana asked. Velthoric made a series of sounds to his pack. Several of them stepped forward and surrounded the poachers. Their meaning was clear. The hunters will be judged, Velthoric said. They have broken the laws of life. They have stolen children and caused pain for profit. You can't just take them, Captain Lee said. They're human criminals. They need to face human justice. Your justice is weak, Velthoric replied. These hunters will return to steal again. Our justice is final. Hana felt afraid for the poachers even though she hated what they had done. What will you do to them? They will be marked, Velthoric explained. All packs will know them. They will never be able to hunt on our world again. If they return, they will not leave. 2 pack members approached Captain Nam. The man tried to run, but he could not escape. One of the creatures touched his forehead with a single claw. There was a brief flash of light, and then Captain Nam screamed. When the light faded, there was a mark on his forehead. It looked like a scar, but it glowed with a faint red light. Now all Velthari will know what you are, Velthoric said to the poachers. Go from our world, never return. The same marking was placed on Taemin and Woojin. All 3 men were sobbing with fear. Get them out of here, Captain Lee ordered her soldiers. Take them to the ship. As the poachers were led away, Velthoric turned back to Hana. Bibial was still in her arms, but now the little creature seemed torn between staying with her and going to his family. You have a choice to make, Hana Kim, Velthoric said. You can return to your people and continue your life as before. Or you can stay and learn our ways. What do you mean? Hana asked. You saved our child without thought of reward? You cared for him when he was hurt. You tried to protect him from the hunters. These are the actions of pack family. Hana felt her heart racing. Are you asking me to join your pack? I am offering you a place among us, Velthoric said. But the choice must be yours. Once made, it cannot be undone. Hana looked around at the pack members. Their silver eyes were all focused on her, waiting for her answer. She looked at Biol, who purred and rubbed his head against her chin. She thought about her life, her research, her career, her comfortable existence among humans. Then she thought about what she had learned in the past few days. The Velthari were not just intelligent animals. They were a wise, ancient people with much to teach. If I stay, she asked, what would happen to me? You would become Velthari, the Alpha replied. Not in body, but in spirit, you would be family. The decision that would change her life forever lay before her. Hanna stood in the moonlight, holding Bill while the entire pack waited for her answer. The weight of the decision pressed down on her like a heavy stone. Join an alien pack and leave humanity behind, or return to her old life and lose this incredible opportunity forever. I need to think, she said quietly. Valthoric nodded his massive head. Take the time you need, we will wait. Captain Lee stepped forward. Dr. Kim, you can't seriously be considering this. These are alien creatures. You belong with your own species. Do I? Hanna asked. She looked around at the Velthari pack. In their silver eyes, she saw acceptance, wisdom, and something she had rarely found among humans. Unconditional love for family.G-Ho approached her carefully. Think about your career, your research, everything you've worked for. What if there's something more important than my career? Hanna replied. She closed her eyes and thought. About her life on Earth, she had always felt like an outsider among her colleagues. They cared about fame and money. She cared about understanding and protecting life. Maybe she had finally found where she truly belonged. I want to stay, she said suddenly. I want to learn from you. Valthoric made a sound of approval. The other pack members began to purr, a deep rumbling that filled the clearing with music. Are you sure? Valthoric asked in her mind. Once you become pack family, you will be changed forever. I'm sure, Hanna said. Then we will perform the ritual of acceptance, Valthoric announced. But first the young one must choose. He looked down at Biel, who was still in Hanna's arms. Little one, you have lived with the human. You have felt her kindness. Do you accept her as pack family? Biel chirped happily and licked Hanna's face. His answer was clear. The child has spoken, Valthoric said. Now we begin. The pack formed a circle around Hanna. Each member began to glow softly, their fur shimmering with different colors. The light grew brighter until Hanna was surrounded by a rainbow of gentle radiance. What's happening? Captain Lee asked nervously. Ancient magic, Valthoric replied. Older than your civilization. The pack began to sing. It was not a sound humans could make, too deep, too rich, too full of harmonies. The crystal trees around the clearing began to glow in response. Even the ground beneath Hanna's feet started to pulse with soft light. This is impossible, Joe whispered. It's like they're connected to the planet itself. Valthoric approached Hanna. In the glow of the ritual, he looked even more magnificent. His fur rippled with gold and silver patterns that seemed to move on their own. Give me your hand, he said. Dashna reached out her free hand. Valthoric touched her palm gently with one massive claw. She felt a warm, tingling sensation that spread up her arm and through her whole body. I mark you as Soul Keeper, Valthoric said, protector of life, member of our pack. The tingling sensation focused on Hanna's forehead. She felt something happening there, but there was no pain. When the feeling stopped, she reached up and touched her forehead. There was a mark there now, but unlike the red marks on the poachers, this one felt warm and comforting. What did you do to me? She asked. Look, Valthoric said. Dako gasped. Hanna, your forehead. There's a star-shaped mark there, and it's glowing. Hanna looked at her reflection in a piece of metal equipment. The mark was beautiful, a six-pointed star that shimmered with soft blue and silver light. This mark will allow you to speak with any Velthari across the galaxy, Valthoric explained. You are now our ambassador to your people. You will help build bridges between our species. Across the galaxy? Hanna asked. You mean there are more of you? Many more, Valthoric replied. We are an old race. We have traveled between stars for thousands of years. But we have never trusted humans enough to reveal ourselves. Until now, Hanna said. Until now, he agreed. Because of your kindness to our child, we will give your people a chance. Suddenly, Hanna's mind was filled with knowledge. She saw star maps showing Velthari colonies throughout the galaxy. She learned about their technology, ships that could travel faster than light, medical techniques that could heal any injury, energy sources that never ran out. This is incredible, she whispered. It is our gift to you, Valthoric said. And through you to humanity. But remember, this knowledge comes with responsibility. Your people must prove they deserve it. Bial made a happy sound and climbed up to sit on Hanna's shoulder. The little creature had grown during his time with her, and his fur now had the same shifting colors as the adults. He will stay with you, Valthoric said. He will be your companion and your teacher. Through him, you will always be connected to us. Captain Lee shook her head. This is all crazy. The authorities will never believe this. They will believe, Valthoric said, because Dr. Kim will show them proof. He gestured to his pack. Several members stepped forward carrying objects that Hanna had never seen before. They looked like crystals, but they pulsed with their own light and seemed to contain swirling galaxies inside. These are memory stones, Valthoric explained. They contain all our knowledge of medicine, engineering, and space travel. Use them wisely. Hanna accepted the precious gifts with shaking hands. She realized she was holding the keys to humanity's future. Why are you doing this? She asked. Why trust us with so much? Because you showed us that some humans can love without wanting something in return, Valthoric replied. You saved our child not for money or fame, but because it was right. This gives us hope for your species, Jeho stepped forward. I'll help you present this to the Galactic Council. They need to know about this. And I'll make sure Kepler 442b is protected, Captain Lee added. No more poachers will be allowed here. As the ritual ended, the pack began to fade back into the forest. But Hanna knew they were not really leaving. She could feel them in her mind now, a warm presence that would always be with her. Valthoric was the last to go. Remember, Hanna Kim, he said. You are no longer just human. You are Valthari too. You are family. Hanna looked up at the stars, Bial purring on her shoulder. Tomorrow, she would return to human space and change everything. She would show her people that the universe was full of friends, not just enemies, but tonight, she was exactly where she belonged, with her new family among the crystal trees. Under the light of alien moons, the amazing gift the pack had given her was not just knowledge or technology, it was belonging. It was love. It was proof that kindness could cross any barrier, even the vast distances between the stars, and that was the most amazing gift of all.